419 with Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Welcome into the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by Wheatro Wealth Management. I'm Kevin Mullen.
Gretchen DeBacker.
Matt Killam.
It is a mystery guest edition of the 419, and it's not my mystery guest today.
It's not mine.
Yep, it's not yours.
Matt, today's Wednesday.
Sweet Jesus.
It is your mystery guest today,
I'm prepared.
Matt. You are prepared. Okay.
Yes.
Now, when I texted Matt yesterday and I said, is your
Okay.
mystery guest? Is your mystery guest ready for tomorrow? He's like, what?
Here's the thing. When you guys skip out on this. When I think of a mystery guest, I like it to be a mystery to me too.
Oh yeah.
Until the very end. Yeah,
And to the studio audience.
I've succeeded admirably yet again. It is my guest. I'm really excited about this individual. So I will present you with some clues.
Okay.
I can tell by the usual bovine, soulless look in your eyes that it won't matter because you won't be able to guess it.
No.
It is a woman.
Okay.
I got it.
She is a woman.
It is a woman.
She is a bulldog in all manner of the phrasing, like I said in the intro. And
Yep.
she is a leader in also a specific area of our town. She's an advocate for a number. And
Interesting.
she
likes to count, is what you're saying?
She does not count, but she has a specific number that she advocates for.
Okay.
And on behalf of. I think that you're probably going to get it. And she is also transitioned into the leader of the numbers. I should have really thought these out before.
She is the leader of the numbers.
Yeah.
So she's a math teacher.
She's an ace.
That's exactly right.
She's an ace?
Like in cards. Never mind.
The ace is the leader of the cards?
At least the
I
ace
love
can
it.
be the first one or the end one.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Yeah, just give it to her. Who cares?
Can be in charge of the king or below the
What I don't
the
want to
deuce.
hear is more conversation about this. So
Yeah,
just let her win.
I agree.
Card people, write into the show and
in all
say that I'm
candor,
right.
this is an exciting get. I think you both like this individual a tremendous amount.
Okay, good.
And they will be talking about all manner of things. And although I did forget that was my mystery guest today, I've been trying to get her on the show, I think, for years.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yep.
Before we take a break, I also want to give a shout out. We've got our friends and our family at Wheatro Wealth Management. Wes Allen is a good friend of the show and just a great guy and a big advocate for public media and for this program. I want to give some love to his family. His son recently won an award from the Tiffin Arts Award program for best cover or remix of a song.
Huh.
I didn't know his son was a
exciting.
musician,
Yeah.
but kind of cool, and
Very
not just
cool.
not just a musician, but now an award
Got the hardware
An
to-
award-winning
Yeah.
musician.
That's
Cool.
right.
That's very
What was
cool.
the song?
Can't always get what you want,
Oh, all right.
I think.
Can't be it, but yeah.
That's probably not
Something
right.
like that?
That was Rolling
That's what you said
Stones.
the first time we did this.
Hang on, I'm gonna get this. Hang on, it was good. You get what you give.
Get what you give.
What you
The
give.
other Rolling Stones song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk to Eric Klinger from Red String Radio Hour,
And
who
he's
can
gonna
hopefully
talk-
bring some chaos into this.
I wonder if he can connect
If anyone can, it's Eric.
Yes.
those two songs.
Yes.
We should ask him.
Okay.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we will meet Matt's mystery guest here on the 419, powered by WGTE.
Support for the 419 comes from Wheatro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at wheatroadvisors.com.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.
Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE, a mystery guest edition. And Matt's mystery guest today, you said they are a bulldog.
Yep.
Their favorite number is
In all meaning of the word
in all
bulldog.
meaning of the word. Their favorite number is 4.
No, I just said that they are an advocate for 4.
Okay. Oh, all right. An advocate for 4.
Now he's trying to change it up.
Which now makes a little bit more sense now that we see who your mystery guest is. Introduce us to your guest.
Miss, is that what you told me to say?
I did not.
Vanessa Williams, representative of District 4, but City Council President, friend to all, unless you don't want to be.
Vanessa Williams, thank you so much for being here.
But Vanessa, tell these two mutton heads, how long have I been trying to get you on the show?
It's been a while. It's been a good while.
When did he ask you to be on today?
Yesterday.
And when he asked you to be on,
Tell the truth, that's your string.
when he asked you to be on, is it true that he doesn't know the dates or times or when any slots are available or
Yes.
what time to be here?
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Well, I did talk to one of the two of you yesterday because I had a small panic attack about it being today.
We're telling on the way home, and I was like, is your surprise guest ready for tomorrow? And he's like, what?
Yeah, and he texted me. He must have texted me right when you asked him. But it was okay. I'm usually
didn't have
up
anything
at
to do.
5.
Yeah,
I don't have anything to do.
You're used to group projects where maybe not everybody pulls the same
yes.
weight.
Oh, yes.
And you've tried
they
to
pull in
talk to
different
Teresa
areas.
Morris, and she just won't. No, I'm just kidding.
I love her. I love her.
As do
right-
we.
So right before we started, but there was a Vanessa.
Yes. Yes.
Talk to me about because I think I've always said
Venice. Okay,
And
so
people mispronounce it.
they don't mispronounce it, and I'll tell you why.
Well, I said
my
Venice.
mom says Vannies, and I love her, absolutely love her, and I go by Vannies most of the time, affectionately.
Sure.
Venice makes me think of my dad, because that's what he calls me.
Okay, all right.
Venice, so
What do you prefer?
Vannies.
Yes, ma'am.
It's affectionately from my mother, and
Okay.
she's my shero, so.
Yeah.
like
So
that.
for people that don't know or are learning about you for the first time, shockingly, talk a little bit about your what you are currently doing on Toledo City Council, your role.
So I'm actually city council president now, and I represent District 4. I am a Bulldog, though.
I know.
I graduated from Scott High School, which
I
is
didn't
in
know
my
that.
district.
I thought that's
You
why you were
did.
saying it.
He knew. This council president. So I basically am the principal of city council, which I actually was a high school principal for a while
So
as
it works
well.
out. Tell us a little bit about District 4. Describe District 4 to our audience who may not be familiar with both its geographic boundaries and some of the high points of it.
Okay, so I cover all of North Toledo, just up to Point Place, not Point Place, just right up to Point Place at Detweiler.
At Detweiler's the
That's
sort
pretty
of
much the
northern
cutoff.
border.
Yep,
Okay.
that's the cutoff. And then I go all of Manhattan. I don't go past Manhattan, so Jeep is not in my district. It's in District 6. And then we go all the way down to Central. Central is part of mine. Hillcrest, some Savannah area, off Savannah. It's very eclectic. So I stop right at Central and Jackman. So some people, that's new as of 21. And then I go all the way downtown. I'm all the way downtown. I have Junction and Inglewood in my districts. So
In the Old West End.
West End, Uptown, all Vistula.
So you have nothing to do, basically.
No
projects to work
no,
on.
No.
Yeah.
So we have, in District 4, we have the most concentration of people. They're closer together in District 4. Where you go to other districts, they're a little bit more spread out, but people are on top of people in District 4.
I don't know how, I'm sure that this data, maybe is passed on. Did you know how many people are in each district? Is that the language that you talk about?
Yes.
I know that you just talked about living close in proximity, but how many human beings do you represent?
So it's roughly between 44 and 46,000 people.
That's a
and
significant amount.
That's in each district.
Oh, okay.
But like I
about even,
said,
yeah.
Okay.
but in District 4, people are on top of people. So
Sure.
we have more of them together than any other
smaller
district.
geographic area
Yes,
representing
yes,
the same
for
number
sure,
of people.
For sure,
Okay.
and we have more people that are renters, like apartments
Sure.
and condos and things like that.
And tell us a little bit about, just so as you just sort of level set to our audience, the makeup of council. What is the, how are the seats made up, staff, members, that kind of stuff?
Oh shoot!
Mostly
So we
plastic?
have absolutely not.
The seats themselves. Gretchen's
So
really into carpentry.
we have 6 district members and 6 at-large members. So district members are specific to an area. So they represent just that area. And then we have at-large who cover all over the city of Toledo. So they cover everyone. And they just had their seat sworn into their seat this year. So January 1.
But what I think we're going to get later into sort of how you grew into this role, but moving from councilwoman to president, you were particularly good at this. These are my words, so I know that you're a humble person sometimes. Talk to me about what makes you particularly good at leading.
One thing about...
Because I have an answer. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
No.
Okay.
So one thing about
That makes her
how
leader.
I've been in several different types of careers. I was initially a Head Start teacher. I started out at 19 as a Head Start teacher. Well, first it was KFC. We can go back to that. And that was a whole wild, crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was when it was Kentucky.
Oh, it was Kentucky
before
Fried Chicken.
before Kentucky
It was
said-
Kentucky Fried
And
Chicken.
they said fried too.
Take our name out of your mouth.
Literally. But it was. It was.
That's the funniest thing Kevin's ever said on this show.
It is funny.
That's good.
And so that was my absolute first job.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. Kenny Rogers Roasters was the first
Come
one.
on.
Yes.
I cannot imagine
And
doing
when it
food
was-
service.
Oh, I got fired after the second
That
day.
I can imagine.
But
Yeah. Did you kill Kenny Rogers
I
yourself?
wanted to so bad.
Yeah.
So going from being a Head Start teacher, moving to different careers. I was I worked at Chrysler for a bit. I worked at Mercy. I worked in an emergency department at St. V's. It was a business office at Mercy, and then I decided that I needed to go back to education. I was actually a property manager too, but when I finally went back to education was in 2008, and I started at Stewart. 2007, I started at Stewart Academy for Girls, and that's where I met Major Tharp. He was Major at the time.
Okay.
And then he converted to, or took that job as sheriff.
Yeah, sure.
Like, what are you doing?
Right.
He definitely encouraged me to go back to school to further my education. I had a bachelor's at the time, and he was like, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going.
Sure.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And he actually encouraged me, as well as the principal at Stewart. I was working third shift at Chrysler.
Yikes.
And then going to work at Stewart with my daughter, just wanted to spend an extra time with her. And I worked at a bar on the weekends. So
Okay.
I was,
You were doing everything.
Hustling.
I had to. I always had to be a hustler to get it. And so being
Have you always been a good student? I mean,
Yes.
You're obviously smart.
Yes, always have.
Yeah.
I always have. Always have been.
And that is your.
Is that because it comes easy,
No.
or like you're
I'd
out
never
working
wanted my
everybody?
mother to have to come to the school.
That's a good motivator. That is a good motivator.
I just made that comment to somebody that a lot of the decisions I've made in my life are not necessarily because of
Yeah.
the mentors that I've had
Yeah.
or
Don't
the,
let my mom
or
call
the
the
groups
school.
that I was a part of. It was to this day
Yeah.
just a mortal fear of my mother.
Yeah.
Because they never were going to side with us.
Well, and it wasn't even that I feared her. I just didn't want her to come to the school.
Now, just quickly, where did you go to school?
I went to Martin Luther King.
Yeah, sure.
And then I went to Robinson and
Yeah.
Scott, Jessup W. Scott.
So we were rivals.
Yes. So I graduated with 3.6. I would miss school and then maybe 2 weeks, and then I go and take a test and pass it. So I was a good student. I loved my teachers. My teachers loved me.
I bet.
I had one teacher, which actually I mimicked my teaching style off of her. Her name was Linda Clark. Lord rest her soul, she passed away. But she used to, I missed a whole 2 weeks of school, and I stayed at home to watch my sister's baby while she finished up school. But my junior year, American Lit, she's a crazy old lady. And she came and she knocked on my door and she said,
Came to your house.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was a good student.
Sure.
And she's like, wait a minute, where's your sister at? And I had to stay at home and help my sister out.
Yeah.
And so get there, and she came to the house. I was like, and I didn't live in a great neighborhood. Like, dude, we were getting shot at all the time. So I'm like, no, Linda Clark.
Now you're in Perrysburg?
Yep,
Yeah.
I was not.
okay.
I grew up in the Smith Park area,
Sure.
Inglewood.
Yeah.
And so it was during the 90s, so it was heavy gang activity. And so Linda Clark came to my house, and I'm like, lady.
Gretchen, when you were here during the 1890s,
Yeah.
was there, what
saying, we
was
got
it? Was
shot
it
at a
like,
lot.
yeah, were you
Yeah.
headed west
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
stopped here?
It
More
was
of a duel.
Lewis
They
and
counted to
Clark.
10.
I was in fact a gunslinger, so
Listen,
you got to protect yourself.
Listen,
That's right.
at all times.
Yeah.
So
It's money on the barrel.
Yeah, so I mimicked my teaching style because she came, she didn't care. So
Yeah.
after high school or whatever, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I actually had a scholarship to UT and threw that away. So
Yep, good move
yep,
there.
threw it
done
away.
with it.
I went for 2 weeks and was like, I don't want to go here.
Sure.
I did. but
Yeah.
I should have kept it now.
Back to your council role, the day in and day out of that, what makes you particularly good at that? We talked a little bit about your path to it, but now you're navigating a bunch of things, which is, I think, sort of your superpower. Talk to me about your ability to navigate through that and some of the things that you fall back on to just get through the day.
So as a high school principal, back to the story, in 08, I actually went and started to work at a dropout recovery school.
Okay.
And you have 16 to 22-year-olds, and you're trying to get them to graduate from high school.
Yeah.
And they don't want to.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure.
They don't want to graduate, and they come with a bunch of issues at that
stuff.
point. You have 20-year-olds with first grade reading levels, so you know something happened somewhere. And so navigating that space, and science teachers, actually, no shade to science teachers, but y'all are weird.
Yeah.
And so trying to manage science teachers, and
Yes.
I say this all the time, and I tell my council colleagues and my staff, listen, I manage science teachers.
Yeah.
And fired science teachers, which
Yeah.
was scary because they can make bombs.
Sure,
so
that's right, yeah.
navigating science teachers alone.
Which council person is most like a science teacher?
Sam Meldon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
That dress is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam is like my science teachers. No, he's a great guy.
Yes, he is.
But I had, and I don't want to say who. I had a teacher from Mechanicsburg, Ohio. By far my weirdest one.
Sure.
I had one science teacher.
But you had so much in common growing up with
No, he
someone
didn't.
from Mechanics.
I don't know what they had going on in Mechanicsburg. And I had one from that she was just weird, and she liked to cut up sharks all the time. And
Sharks?
Yes. She would love to cut up sharks. Like, order
Paper
me
sharks?
a new shark. Okay, I have a problem with you.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
one that sat in the dark. So if I can navigate science teachers and teenagers,
Tell me
young
more about the one
adults,
that's set in the dark. Do you think that she's available?
he was from Mechanicsburg.
He's fine. I'll take what I can
but
get.
what is it
Oh,
about?
he's the Mechanicsburg one.
Like,
He sat in the dark.
so you talk about managing science teachers, managing council people, managing constituents that are upset about something. I mean, what is it like? What's the tactic that you use? Is it just strict boundaries? Is it
I have an answer to this.
here's a process for how I respond to you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna listen, then I'm gonna breathe for a little bit, and
Is
then
it
I'm gonna
denial?
right.
Nope. So I'll be clear. I don't manage the council people because we're all elected officials. So what I do is try to manage around them.
Sure.
Manage around them and
Manage
bring
the
people
process,
together.
maybe,
The
more than the
process
individual.
is definitely
Yeah.
it because you definitely want to manage the process.
Right.
And just managing how we are perceived by the public. And I answer phone calls. I'm on the phone with constituents, listening to them. And listening first is key. You have to listen. That is the key to everything that we do. Listening to the staff, listening to the needs of the council people who are priority at this point. And just making sure that we are all on the same page, whether we agree or not.
I have my answer to this, and at the risk of making you feel uncomfortable, because all you ever do is say mean and terrible things to me. What I think makes you particularly good at this is, I would have said, you're a great listener first. And that is, and we've been in a lot of different places together, and you are a good listener, and you are then an honest person. And although you work through, I wish you were less honest with me, and I have a list of things I'd like you to never be honest
Someone
with me
has
about.
to be honest with you.
That's not true.
This is best.
But people know whether they agree or disagree, that you are going to listen, and then you're going to tell them what you know to be true, and then you are malleable, meaning that doesn't mean that the third part of that isn't you listening again or changing your mind. The deal isn't done with you. I think that you take in a lot, and then you navigate through those things with a tremendous amount of respect, grace, and districts that you represent, and now the city. People respect you, even people who don't agree with you, and you disagree with people sometimes at a very loud volume.
I do.
But so that is my compliment to you for what my opinion matters. Many people feel the same way, if not most.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Well, you told me to say it, so. But I do want to ask, from an energy perspective, you are up every day. My guess is somewhere between 4:30 and 5:30. The energy level, we are approximately the same age.
A little bit. You're older.
You look so much worse.
Okay. So how do you keep your energy up here? We've only got about a minute and 30 seconds left of this segment, but how do you keep the fire? What gets you out of bed?
A 3-year-old, a 4-year-old?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no choice.
Just the energy of it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been energetic, and
Yeah.
you know, I gotta drive for life. You know.
Yes, you do.
I love life. I love it. Life is great.
Yeah.
I mean, and people say life is lifing. Life is lifing in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, I have a sense of rest and peace that I get from just waking up.
What's the part of serving on council that you enjoy the most?
Talking to constituents. I love that the most.
Yeah.
Trying to see stuff be resolved for our residents. That's the best thing. I think that's everyone's purpose in life, is to make sure that we serve.
And that came from your mom, your dad, your community?
My
church?
mom.
Yeah.
My mom, she used to wake us up every morning and say, "Did you thank God for waking you up this morning?" Every morning.
Can you tell us a little bit more about her?
She's amazing. So,
I've never actually met her, although you and I have said in the lobbies of health care facilities quite a bit together.
with my mom, actually.
Yeah, she was always in the other room.
Yeah.
So you and I were just in the waiting room together.
So
Why were you in the waiting room, Matt? You just trying to make friends?
Just to meet women.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, my mom is actually, she had 3 kids before the age of 21. And she's had some struggles in life.
Sure.
But to see her persevere where she is today, she's amazing. She's the biggest hero I have in life because she doesn't have a high school diploma, but she raised 3 kids that graduated high school. I have a master's degree. My sister has her associates. My brother, he has a great job, and she helps us with our kids.
Yeah.
Tell us about your brother and sister. Are they in town?
So I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers. My oldest sister we don't say half, but she's she's my sister by my father.
Yep, sure.
But she's my eldest sister, and she lives in Georgia. Her name is Nicole. She works for Cartersville, Georgia. She is she runs the water department.
Yeah.
I don't even know what her position is,
That's
but she
okay.
runs the water department.
Close enough.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of downloads in Georgia.
Yeah, it's
anything.
it's where she's working at is real hicky. And so,
Mechanicsburg, Georgia.
actually, no, it's Cartersville.
Oh, I love it there in the fall.
Bartow County.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever visited in the fall to leave?
I
What a beautiful place.
hate visiting.
Oh.
But I did because at one point all my siblings lived there, so I had to go.
Yeah.
And then everybody's older than me except for a little brother. But my eldest brother is after my eldest sister, and he works out at Kripke.
Yeah.
Cool dude. He's a cool dude.
We've
Always
had
been my
Kripke
protector.
on. That's a great company.
He's my guy. Matt Kripke is amazing.
Yes, he is.
My brother, he's amazing as well. He's always been my protector. I mean, literally protector. Like would beat Elgin Rogers up for me.
Sure, yeah, right.
Me and Elgin grew up together, so I tell
I
my
know
brother
that.
to beat him up.
Yeah,
Oh
sure.
yeah, we went to King Robinson and Scott together.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Too much time.
It's a long haul.
Too much time together, but he's a good friend of mine. And then my sister L'Oreal, she's more of my protector than all 3 of them.
Okay.
Like she
She's
would
terrifying.
body block.
Yeah.
Like my mouth would go 1,000 miles a minute.
Get out of town.
Once I talk crap to somebody, she'd come and she'd have to defend me.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Finish it up.
So and
Yeah.
she helps me run the child care center. But
Okay,
she's
I didn't know.
she's an amazing mother, and she's she quit her medical. She was a medical assistant for 11 years, and she quit to come help me run my child care center. So.
We're talking with Vanice Williams, City Councilwoman, President of City Council. You mentioned the Child Care Center. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about that. And I'm really interested in whether it's easier to coordinate a bunch of 3 and 4-year-olds or the grown adults that sit on our City Council. We'll talk about that
Or
when
the
we come back.
similarities.
Yeah. It's the 419, powered by WGTE. We'll be right back.
To me, community means connecting to others.
I'm Donnie Miller, and welcome to The Point.
I love CBS Kids!
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
I would send them personally a T-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the Old West End, pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
vision loss for people is not the end. It's a story. It's the next chapter.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
Monday through Friday, it's the 419 powered by WGTE. With Matt Killam, Gretchen DeBacker, I'm Kevin Mullen. What can people expect on the show?
It's going to be an hour, a reminder of why this is a great place to live, work, and play.
WGTE, where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back into the 419. It's a mystery guest edition. We're joined now once again by Matt's mystery guest, Ms. Vanice Williams, the president of Toledo City Council. But you, so City Council in Toledo, if folks aren't aware, and I somewhat tongue-in-cheek say it's not a full-time job.
No.
It very much is a full-time job.
It is.
But it is not full-time pay.
No.
And so everybody, for the most part, has something else that they do on the side.
They have to.
Yeah. And so talk to me about what your day job is.
So right now my day job has been president of council, and then in between that I run a child care center on Monroe Street, just by Auburn.
How long has that location been open?
So I opened it July of 2020. I got on council September of 2020.
Yeah,
so
might as well do it all at the same time.
Yeah,
and do it during global pandemic.
Yep, it was a pandemic. I actually purchased the building in December of 19, and
Great timing.
We were slated to open March of 2020.
Perfect.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Yep. It was rough.
I bet.
Yeah.
What obviously, I mean, you talked a little bit about your background. You were a Head Start teacher. You've worked in education. I mean, is that what drew you to this, or what kind of brought you to purchase this childcare center?
So once I kind of told you I had 20-year-olds with first grade reading levels, and that bothered me to no end. It happened somewhere because in first grade you're 6. So where did it happen at?
Where'd the break?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I had some owners. It was a charter school that I ran. The owners of the company were the worst people in the world. They were poverty pimping, and I'll tell you what that is if you want to know.
I do want to know. No, seriously.
Poverty pimping is when you make money off of poverty, kids in poverty. And for the duration of me working at the school, we had one owner, and then they sold it to another. And these owners were terrible. They only cared about their bottom line. And so I had to walk away, and I was making 6 figures at the time. And it was hard to walk away, but my daughter had graduated from college, and I was like, it's time to go. So as soon as she graduated, I quit.
Yeah, sure.
And as I was going and figuring out my next journey, Child Care Center was just the thing to do. I wanted to start at the beginning and help parents learn those deficits where they were, and if they had hearing problems, if they weren't talking, and that's stuff that I can recognize. I've worked with kids all my life, and I just wanted to make sure that they could start off right.
There was an initiative a couple of years ago, and I know it hasn't fully gone away, around universal pre-K. I had the privilege of sitting on one of those committees, kind of in the early, kind of the first go-around. And so learned quite a bit about this. I've worked in education most of my career as well. But I'm curious, talk a little bit about kind of the gap and the need for kindergarten readiness and what that actually means.
To get a child ready for kindergarten is very intense. You have to be hands-on. You have to have small classes. You have to be able to help parents advocate for different things, because a lot of times they don't know. And I was definitely, my child care center was definitely an affiliate of Hope Toledo, which is a great organization that helped work with community-based child care. This was not the big conglomerates. These were the kids that will be those kids at my dropout recovery school that I was at. They will be them if we don't touch them, because parents need access to not only early learning, but they need child care as well.
Right.
So yes, they should learn parts of the day and then be able to learn all day long, but be in a setting where parents feel comfortable.
Right.
Because in the traditional school setting that is also doing a great job with preschool, they don't go past 3 o'clock, where you have parents that they don't get off work till 6, 7.
Or start work at 6.
Or start work at 6.
Right.
So having quality child care at the beginning of life is very important, because and this is the mission at my child care center is education begins at birth. And you know who I got that from? Romulus Durant. He started that, and that is what I took and carried on. At the end of my career at the high school, I actually partnered with Dr. Durant to help our kids with career tech programs, the children that I served, and just working alongside of him and hearing what he talked about with the early learning piece. Education begins at birth and sometimes in the womb.
It's so insane to me that we're still having this, that we still are having this conversation.
I
mean,
agree.
it is so patently clear. It's so obvious that these interventions from 0 to 5, 0 to 4 are just critical. I mean, they change the trajectory. I mean, it makes me insane.
It makes me insane too.
It's insane.
It's insane
that we're still talking about this. The data is clear. The interventions are clear. What is the programs that are needed are clear.
But there's such a tremendous gap in our community, right?
Right.
My wife and I talk about it all the time. Like, I
because
can't
the people
imagine,
that are in authority don't want to do anything about it.
But like, I can't imagine a world where my kids wouldn't have been ready for kindergarten, right? But like, I mean, I'm certainly coming from a place of privilege where both my wife and I have college degrees. We both have good jobs. We're both able to be home with the kids. All of these things that are not the norm across the city. And so the thing that worked for my kids, they can't just like, well, yeah, parents figure it out. Well, it's like, well, no, parents are trying to figure it out. Parents are working 3, 4, 5 jobs all hours of the day. And one of the barriers that around pre-K was parents trusting that the center would take better care of their kid or take as good of care of their kid as they do.
And that's what it is. And the majority of the majority of people in childcare right now in community-based centers, private community-based centers, are Black women who carried the country, who took care of people's children throughout time.
That's right.
And so when you look at that and you look at who, even at the state level, even locally, who people are targeting, who are not at the table. I've been in rooms when people are talking about childcare, and I'm the only childcare owner in the building.
Sure.
Like, how are we talking about childcare and not having the people in the room that's doing childcare?
And also experiencing it.
Right.
Yes.
Like the challenges, the breakdown.
Oh yeah, because
lived it.
I went from making 6 figures to making no figures. When I first opened my center on council, I was broke. My car was repoed. And that was the time when we were making $27,500. Going from 6 figures to $27,500 and still having 6-figure bills was hard.
Sure.
But I was walking to my center with my car repoed, answering constituent calls, talking to Dr. Whitman, walking and just being as happy as can be.
But I think it's interesting because you talk about like that. We've got a group of constituents whose voices typically aren't heard. We've got a government system that's pretty good at making decisions for other people without their voice being heard.
Yep.
And so I got to believe that's part of the motivation for you when we talk about why in the world would you run for city council. You wanted to be that advocate and that voice for a community.
Well, and not only that, my goal in life is to make sure that my grandmother was the best. And when I was at her funeral, I had to plan her funeral. Unfortunately, it was probably the hardest time of my life.
What was her name?
Her name was Lorraine Whitaker.
Okay.
She worked at Child Study Institute, back CSI.
Yeah, sure.
It was an old JDC now, juvenile detention.
I did not know that that's what CSI stood for.
Yeah. Child Study Institute. She worked there for 30 years.
You're kidding me.
And when I planned her funeral, and got all the people that she took care of in that setting coming to her funeral. I mean, I had never seen her funeral like this before in my life. This woman had people that were 50 years old that said that she let me come stay with her after I left the detention center because my mom didn't take me home. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I live in Milwaukee now. I'm here to visit and see and pay homage to her and honor her. And that's the legacy I want to leave. It's legacy for me. It's not what I do here. We get a dash put on our headstone when we die. And that's it. To tell everybody what you did in your life, that dash.
2 words.
And what you do with that dash means something. And her dash meant something.
Yeah.
And to see it, she was my grandma.
Yeah.
She was great. She was my best friend. But to know that her dash meant something to so many people.
many.
It's so important, and as an elected official, you speak through your budget. The priorities that you place are in the budget that's put forward by the mayor, that's approved by council. So and that was just approved a couple weeks ago. What are some of the priorities that you have in the new budget that City Council just approved that you're excited about or pleased that were made part of that budget?
I'm not pleased about the budget.
Okay. What are you displeased about the budget?
The fact that, so as a district member, it was different for me. I was able to say, this is what I want, and stick with it and argue about it and say, this is our priorities.
Right.
But with our budget now, is so many constraints because we don't have enough revenue coming in.
Right.
The focus is just maintaining it and making sure the city doesn't go bankrupt.
What are the ideas that are currently on the table to increase revenue?
So increasing revenue, maybe a levy, and that is a real conversation. Also, an entertainment tax, which may not bring a whole lot in. That is something that's on the table too. It won't do what we need. And the mayor has a great idea about bringing in more people, and the way that our economic development, I think he's the chief now.
Yeah, chief of growth.
Chief of bubbles.
That's right.
He's the economic growth bubble.
That's right. Write
So
that
if
down.
you look at the things,
circles.
bubbles,
Yeah.
we call it the bubble map.
Yeah.
So scrubbing bubbles.
Yeah.
So we, Brandon Selhorst is probably the most, he's very smart.
Yes, he is.
I've never met anybody like
He's so
smart
skilled.
like him.
Yeah, he really
he's
is.
very good. And like I've had people from out of town saying, well, he's ready to go, we'll take him. No, he's not ready to go yet. Brandon's young.
Yeah.
And so the ideas that he has, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
I'm interested, like, you know, the idea of like our city doesn't have enough money, and I conceptually get that. But then you start talking about Brandon Selhorst and all the conversations we've had and all the years that he has been great at what he does and driving economic development, driving growth to our city. Why is that not translating into more revenue?
Well, if you think about it, it takes years to see things
Turn around.
Exactly. It takes years. Like they say 7 years for a business to turn around. Well, I'm in my 6th.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Right.
close to 6. So it takes years. We may not see that for 10 years. But that's something that if you start it now, it will happen. We really have to focus on cutting the budget, and that right now to sustain past 2029. And then 2030, we will probably see the results of what's going on right now.
It is so wildly complex, right? So you have population loss, which obviously is a direct line to revenue or income in the business concept of government. We have aging infrastructure, so costs are rising exponentially. We just had the Arlington sewer disaster, which is no one's fault, but it is not going to be a lone wolf. I mean,
it's not right now.
So right, that's probably at the end of the day, if you put in all the costs, probably a $50 million boondoggle, which is no one's fault. So you know, to that end, I think that the CIC that put in place, Brandon the mayor.
What is that?
So that is.
What's the CIC?
So that.
What does it stand for?
Community Investment
Corporation.
Quit
saying stuff you don't know.
Well, then we would
Just
never.
said letters. Random said letters.
Well, that's the show.
Yeah. Well, but I am right. Which I know that you are not. Oh, that's the first lesson I just said to me right down today's date. But so I think you know we're here. I do want, before we get into a sort of a funner portion of the show, I do want to highlight one thing before we move into that. You've had a long road as a community advocate, and I'm sure there's several, but do you mind highlighting something that was your favorite or a feel-good? Almost nothing on the level that you work on is a 100% win, or you get to spike the football. I'm sure there's always something you're like, I wish I would have got a little more here, or it would have been slightly different. That is the blight and challenge of some of your intellect and your drive. It's never going to be perfect to your standards, but there's got to be something that you're immensely proud of. Do you mind sharing at least one of them?
Oh, definitely. And I do have several, but the biggest thing that I am so happy about today is that Ashland Manor actually has new owners.
Sure.
That is the best.
Such a terrible.
Oh my God.
Explain to people why And there are a couple areas in our district that could be better served, and I've walked through one of them with you.
Yes.
But talk to me about why that was a win and the process for doing so.
So Ashland Manor is an affordable housing project, and it used to be marketed as for veterans, right? And so veterans need to be taken care of. They're our heroes. They're the ones that fight for our freedoms every day. But we have maybe about 10 veterans in there. The owner of that complex actually was terrible, a terrible person, terrible organization, actually is being sued by the feds. And I've been working on this for about 3 years now. And now we have, when you walk through, it was 8 floors of compacted trash.
And you had the director of HUD here.
Yep.
I mean, it was like, it became a very big story, but the deplorable conditions that the people were living in there. They had been complaining for a long period of time to different agencies, and their voices were unheard. And
someone was murdered there.
Yeah.
And that's the part that gets me is the poverty pimps. And that's what I'm speaking about, poverty pimps. When you're profiting off the poor, and that's so bad, and I have issue with that, and that's what Ashland Manor owners were doing. And they kept transferring to their next LLC, changing their names and
playing the game.
I've tracked it all the way back to a company in Beverly Hills, and as soon as I got on them, they hurry up and said, no, it's not ours. Yes, it is. We know this is your affiliate company. So that is one actually where I feel like residents will get, this is a great owner out of New York that I feel like will be an asset to our community on a broader scale.
That's great. That's amazing.
We're talking with Venice Williams from Toledo City Council. All right, buckle up. It's now time for
I'm ready.
Gretchen's
Wacky Quiz. She loves that.
I guess I'm doing this alone.
I did make up that name.
All right, 4 rapid fire questions from me. Gretchen's asking you to describe Toledo in one word, and you and Matt will list the 9 best things in Toledo. Question number 1, what is your biggest fear?
God.
Okay.
Great answer.
What toppings do you like on your pizza?
Crab meat and pineapple.
Crab meat and pineapple?
It's so good.
Okay, I'll try it.
What does your favorite T-shirt have on it?
I can't say it.
Crab meat and
Yeah, we have FCC
I can't
here.
say it.
Okay.
Skip.
Okay.
Well, it's my Black Girl Magic shirt.
Okay, good.
All right, there we go. And then you worked at KFC.
Yes.
So I'm excited to hear the answer to this. What's your favorite fast food?
Kenny Rogers.
No, that's not it. It was Boston Market.
Okay.
Boston Market was so good. Side-eyed sampler. Side.
And
sampler.
it's gone.
Yeah, it is. What is the one word you would use to describe the city of Toledo?
Eclectic.
Okay.
That's my girl. All right, we're doing your 9 favorite things about the city.
Oh, that's great. Let's go.
Okay.
The Metro Parks.
Thank you.
Oh, jeez.
You gotta give it to
No,
the
they're
Metro
great.
Parks.
Do you?
Yes, I do, because and let's be clear, I fought against some funding that we gave them.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that I don't love it, and it's like the best thing since Swiss
You're just trying to
cheese.
make up for that vote.
Nope,
We understand what's happening here.
Not making up for that vote. It was Metro Parks versus grocery stores, so I went with grocery stores. So.
All right, Metro Parks number 1.
Okay.
Keep going.
The next one is boxing.
Yes.
Toledo boxing.
And a big deal for your brother as well. Right?
Yes.
That's part of your family.
Toledo boxing is something that I actually love. We have a great boxing family here. The Toledo Golden Gloves will be fighting this weekend. Shout out, shameless plug. I love the art museum. It's amazing. I gotta go see Cursed.
Yes.
The party. Arts Commission.
Art Commission.
The Arts Commission and the mix. Oh my God, that's so turned up.
Yep.
I love Inglewood.
Yep.
I love Inglewood. That's where I was born and raised, still live. I love Gino's Pizza.
I already love it. All right.
I love Gino's Pizza. Gino's by far is probably the best pizza, but Pizza Cat is a second. It's a close second,
I like Pizza
though.
Cat too. All right, you got one left.
One
What is
left.
it?
I did not 8 already.
Yep.
What are you writing? I don't even know what
Just
that says.
answer the question, for God's sake.
The absolute last one that I actually love is Junction Neighborhood.
You got it.
I love it. Venice Williams, thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me.
Great having you on the program. All right, when we come back, Eric Klinger.
Yes.
With WGTE. He's got the red string
Diaries.
Radio Hour.
Yes.
Something like that. Red
Yes.
String Diaries? I like it. Red String. We're just going to make up whatever the name of the show is. We'll learn more about it on the other side of the break here on the 419. We'll be right back.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at witroadvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARTA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at tarta.com.
Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE. There's so many great things happening here at WGTE and some incredible programming on FM 91, on the app, on the website. You can find it everywhere. We're joined now by Eric Klinger, the host of the Red String Radio Hour.
Correct.
What in the world is the Red String Radio Hour?
So,
it's about 30 minutes long, right?
It's correct. So, what I do is I make the connections that exist between music. So I look at the ways in which music is all connected, right? I start with one song, I choose it more or less at random, then I make the connections that that song has to other songs by other artists. We cross genres, we are all over the place. It's very eclectic, and then the goal is with every episode to bring it to a satisfying conclusion.
So one of the things, we had the chance to chat recently. I found this show idea so clever, so interesting. Also, I would encourage anyone to go to the WGTE Facebook page because Eric makes these short videos where he's pointing to a board, which we'll have him put up here in a second, with the red string going around. But what you were explaining to me was you might go down a path and get yourself sort of into a corner with your connection.
Yes.
And then you can't get it back around, and so you have.
I get it back around.
Okay, so what's the plan when you have something like that happen?
You don't have one.
Okay.
That's the best part. Is you start to see that this person played with this person, and then you dig deeper and you say, wait, why did this person play with this person? Why did Jerry Garcia play with Ornette Coleman? You people at home get that, right? But
this is the music version of chaos theory, right? If you stare at something long enough that seems not connected, you'll see patterns emerge.
No, you form your own pattern. You force your own pattern.
That's what chaos theory is.
Okay,
Eric.
yeah, okay. Elementary chaos theory. Yes. So that's what I'm doing here.
And how are you finding who is playing on all of these songs? Is this something that's searchable? Do you have this knowledge innately already in your brain?
So there are plenty of discography websites out there that I use to research it. But then what I try to do is go, well, what's the most interesting one? So a while back, I was doing an episode where I came to Graham Nash, right, who played with the Hollies, right? And I could have said, oh, well, Graham Nash then joined Crosby, Stills, and Nash, right? That's not that interesting. Everybody knows that.
Right.
So I'm like, well, what else can we do? So I found out that the Hollies backed up the Everly Brothers on an album that they made in 1964. Followed that around, just ended up in all kinds of different directions, ended up heading into jazz, into avant-garde, classical music, whatever I find. And that's like the more interesting, the better. And then you just keep bringing it around.
And on the show, you're playing these songs
Yes,
as you're going through.
Yeah.
Has any listener called you out and said that they thought that you were incorrect or that you've made a Red String Radio Hour error in what you were saying?
Not yet, but I welcome that.
Okay, good.
You've got a cork board next to you that looks like you're trying to solve a murder in the 1980s.
Yeah, it looks like you might be also a little bit insane.
That's what the red string is, right?
But we do love it.
You know, the old 1980s detective
there you go.
shows.
That's perfect.
Conspiracy theories, murder boards, whatever we call them. Yes, that's how I got the name. I was like,
it's great.
That's what I'm doing here is I'm making these connections. So I'll give you an example.
Yes.
So the first, this is episode 3, which will air on the 22nd of April.
Okay.
All right, which aired, I'm sorry, on the 22nd of April. I'm sorry, my verb tenses. But so the song I started with initially is Lovey Dovey by the Clovers, okay? Lovey Dovey by the Clovers. The first stanza is, you're the cutest thing that I ever did see, really love your peaches, want to shake your tree. Steve Miller appropriated that for his song.
I thought that was a
The
Steve Miller
Joker.
song. Okay.
Well, okay. So there's a piano player on that called Van the Piano Man Walls. He played with Stick McGee and his buddies. One of his buddies was Brownie McGee. Brownie McGee played with Sonny Terry. Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, they were the 2 blues guys in the movie The Jerk. Okay, that's them.
Oh,
okay.
wow, okay.
Stick McGee recorded a song called One Monkey Don't Stop the Show, okay? Sonny Terry recorded a completely different song also called One Monkey Don't Stop the Show, okay?
Totally different song.
Totally different song.
Okay.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
Very common, very common. Okay, so appearing on the Sonny Terry song was Lightnin' Hopkins, famous blues guy. Lightnin' Hopkins had a bass player named Jimmy Bond. Jimmy Bond played with the Jazz Crusaders, okay? Jazz Crusaders bass player Wilton Felder played with John Cale, who was in the Velvet Underground, right? Okay. John Cale recorded an album called Paris 1919. That's the Paris Peace Talks there. Sort of related.
Remember we used to do that?
Yeah.
Have peace talks? That was great.
I wouldn't, yeah, that was fun. So John Cale also recorded with the minimalist 20th century composer Terry Riley.
Okay.
Okay, Terry Riley, the album that they recorded together was called Church of Anthrax, and I play a little snippet from that. It's a long piece, but okay. So we get into some minimalist 20th century composer stuff there. The drummer on that was Bobby Gregg. Bobby Gregg played on Bob Dylan's 1965 classic, Bringing It All Back Home. He plays on the song Bob Dylan's 115th Dream. Okay, the bass player on Bob Dylan's 115th Dream was Bill Lee. That's Spike Lee's father.
What?
Okay, so.
But you're not chasing that string. You're leaving Spike Lee out of this, it looks like.
For now.
For now.
We never know. I may revisit this.
Right.
I've got
He's got a lot of soundtrack
Got a lot
stuff.
of boards in his
Things
basement.
are percolating up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bill Lee played with Stanley Cowell, the jazz composer and Toledo native. Try to work in a little Toledo wherever I can here,
sir.
right? Or Northwest Ohio, something like that. Ohio. Anyway.
Let's tilt that board a little bit.
Push that, yeah.
Yep,
there,
I want to
there
make
you
sure
go.
folks can see it. Yep.
Right, okay. Also, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. The bass player on that was Charlie Folks, who also played in Count Basie's band when he recorded a version of Uptight, which was written by Sylvia Moy. Sylvia Moy also wrote the song This Old Heart of Mine, which was recorded by the Isley Brothers, but I played the version by Tammy Terrell. That was also written by Holland Dozier Holland, Motown legendary composers, Holland Dozier Holland, who, after leaving Motown, formed a different label called Invictus, where they recorded a group called the Honeycomb, who released a third, completely different song called One Monkey Don't Stop the Show.
Wait, can't they leave these monkeys alone?
And that's what I call bringing it all back home.
That is bringing it all
And then
back
it
home.
ends with the red string goes on forever.
We just point
on
out
forever.
that the red string goes on
Red
forever.
String Radio Hour here on WGTE. Where can people listen to it?
They can listen to it on FM 91 because only public media, only public radio would play shows like this. It's the only place you can get this type of thing.
It's amazing.
And yes, once the episode has launched, it's aired, I put a Mixcloud of it up on our website, so you can listen to it on demand. You can get to it via our website or via the app.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
on Wednesdays.
Yes.
On FM 91.
Correct.
Red String Radio Hour with Eric Klinger.
Yes.
Where did you come up with this idea?
I had a bunch of red yarn you had to get rid of.
Yes, so
A failed knitter?
I started here, so I started here as a communications strategist in November of last year. And I thought, while I'm here, I used to work here as the news director back in the olden days. And so I'm like, I like radio. I want to come up with an idea for a show. So I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, what if we did that? And it just came to me. I think it would only come to me if I worked here. Like,
Yes.
It wouldn't have occurred to me to do this.
How much
if I
time does it
hadn't
take to make a single show on average?
Oh,
I mean, you can
gosh.
tell by your voice that this is fun, and it's really fun to watch,
Yeah.
to listen to you do it.
Yeah.
I think this is a brilliant idea, and everyone is familiar with going down a search hole or wormhole. But how long would you say this takes here for one episode?
So it's one of the few things I do in my life where I don't count how many hours it takes me
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
So
Fun.
but it takes me a few hours to research it, a few hours to write it, and then a couple hours to record it. Recording's actually the quickest part.
Sure.
All right,
Yeah.
Wednesday, 7 p.m. on FM 91, 24/7, 365, online at WGTE.org. Search for Red String Radio Hour. Of course, you can find it on the new and improved, easy for me to say.
WGTE app is what he's going to say. It is great. It is easy to use, even for me, and I am not an app person. It's a fantastic tool for everyone.
I'm getting so emotional just thinking about it. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. We'll
Thank
take
you.
a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this Friday edition of the 419.
You laughed with us. You learned with us.
Hi, neighbor.
We made sure your childhood was special. Memories that could only be provided by PBS. For generations, we've given you programs that made a difference. Programs that entertained, informed, and inspired. And today is no different. This is WGTE Public Media in Toledo. It's where you belong.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at witroadvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARTA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at tarta.com.
Welcome back into the 419 as we wrap up a Friday edition. What are you doing?
Matt is being silly.
All right, Matt's surprise guest, home run.
Yeah.
Benny's is fantastic.
Yeah, she really is. I mean, she is a tough cookie on the outside and just tougher on the inside. No,
I think a good reminder that like these people that we see in the news that like we might disagree with on a random Tuesday or Wednesday, but like are real people.
Yeah, we're dealing with some real life stuff here. We have a great town and great city. That's what this show's about. But there's the reality that we're also a shrinking town in a poor county, and they being our local government and the elected officials and all of us deal with real stuff.
They have real issues.
And you can argue and disagree and be friends and come together later if you treat each other with respect, and she embodies that.
If you missed any part of the show, 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91, and 6 p.m. WGTE Connects Channel 30.4. It's the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.